Hey guys, it's Len at Lionstrong Athletics. If you want your shoulders bigger and stronger, you need to stop neglecting your rear delts and learn how to isolate them so that you can grow them. I want to go over today how important rear delts are aesthetically and physically as far as strength goes, so that you can implement this into your program and they can grow bigger. But first, hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date on our most recent videos. So why are rear delts so important anyways? Well, from an aesthetic standpoint, when we're flexing our shoulders, our rear delt shoots out the back and to the sides. And especially when we're wearing shirts, it's actually pushing against that material, creating a big pop in our shoulder. And it gives us this look of this round boulder that's on the outside. This muscle is underdeveloped in most people, and we're only really showing half of what our muscle is capable of. So developing this muscle is how you really get your shoulders to pop, and you can get that V look and you can get wide and very aesthetic. Now beyond that, the rear delt also provides us a lot of structural support in our shoulders when we're doing pressing movements. So if I want to increase my bench press, I better have strong rear delts to be able to support my scapula and support my shoulder to handle that weight. If you don't have this muscle strong enough, you'll hit a limit in your bench press or other presses and you won't be able to progress on that side. So both aesthetically and from a strength perspective, the rear delt is incredibly important. Now let's get into how to isolate it so that you can grow that muscle. Now the movement we're going to do for this rear delt is called a rear delt fly or a rear delt raise, depending on which mode you're using. Today I'm going to be using a cable machine, but you can use dumbbells or bands. It doesn't matter. The technique is all going to be the same to target our rear delts. What we want to do in this movement is get long with our arms, pushing the weight away from our body and contracting our rear delts to accomplish this task. Okay? Now, when we're doing this, it's important that we don't use our upper back to move the weight for us. We want to isolate our rear delts. So let me show you what that means. As I'm bringing the weight back, if I contract my upper back at the same time, often my traps and my rhomboids in my upper back will do the work for me, and my rear delts will be a little bit shut off. But if I learn to curve that over and turn those muscles off, my rear delts are forced to do the work for me. So here's my upper back doing the work, and here are my rear delts doing the work. Now with weight, I like to do a cable cross machine. So I'm crossing the weight over to provide force through the whole movement. I want to have my hands facing the ground, and I'm going to pull that back, contract my rear delts, and avoid contracting my upper back. Again, I want to avoid my upper back doing the work, and I want to even curve and hunch over a little bit so just my rear delts are doing the work for me. Now, because the rear delt is a small muscle, you have to start pretty light on this exercise. That way you do not recruit the muscles of your upper back to accomplish it, and then you can progressively overload from there. We want to aim for 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets, and try to get our rear delts to do the work, isolate, and grow. All right, the exercise that we're going to get into for the rear delts is called a rear delt raise or a rear delt fly. This exercise can be done on a cable machine. That's what I'm going to do today. Or you can do it with dumbbells or bands. The mode doesn't matter too much. It's just going to be the same technique every time. So make sure you find something that's available to you, and you're doing this exercise for 3 sets, 15 or so reps. So as we get into the cables, I've set this up so that the force is around my head height. I'm going to be facing the other way, but I want to go over how tension works on this exercise first. So I will be crossing like this, and the reason that I'm doing that is because when the force is coming across my body, my rear delt is going to hold it for longer. And if it's not across my body, my range of motion under tension will be very small. So when you do this exercise, I want you to be grabbing cross so you can maintain tension for longer. It's also very important for rear delts that we have our hands facing towards the floor. You can have them tilted a little bit if that feels more comfortable or you feel a better contraction. But generally, towards the floor is how we're going to target that rear delt the best. Okay, so I'm going to get set up here. I'm grabbing opposite with my hands, and I'm going to walk it out just slightly. We're going to go wide with our arms, hands facing the floor, and I'm going to try to contract my rear delts in the back. Now I do that by hunching forward slightly. There's an easy way to use the muscles in my upper back to accomplish this exercise. As you can see right now, they are doing the work for me. I want to shut these muscles off in my upper back by hunching forward. So if I can have a slight hunch and then I'm just using my shoulders to come forward, that is how I isolate my rear delts. And in doing so, I can grow that muscle specifically without targeting the muscles of my inner back. Now, it's important to realize that your rear delts are pretty small muscles to begin with. So you need to start with very low weight and work your way up slowly with progressive overload to make sure that the muscles of your upper back don't take over the exercise and they don't get worked first. We want to try to isolate those rear delts so they can grow by themselves. Now, I want to go over a couple different options in case you don't have a cable machine available to you. It is my favorite, but I know some people are working out at home or some gyms it's very busy and you don't always have access to it. So I want to show you a dumbbell version as well as a banded version that you can do in case that machine is not available. First, the dumbbells. I want you to start with something very light, 5 to 8 pounds. Our hands are going to be facing downwards or palms downwards. I want to bend over so that I can fight gravity, and we're going to bring the weights out to our sides. Now in this position here, I'm trying to contract that rear delt muscle. I want to avoid lifting my chest up where my upper back can help me. I want to try and curve over and hunch over a little bit so just my shoulder is doing the work for me. Now with dumbbells, I only have tension on the top part of this movement, and that's why I personally like cables, because you can keep tension throughout. But the dumbbell version is still a great exercise to do. And if you have bands available to you, you can hook it up on a machine or a Smith machine or a squat rack, something that's not going to move. We can get into the exact same position as the cable machine, where we cross up, walk out, and you perform it the exact same way as the cable machine, where I'm trying not to use my upper middle back. I'm trying to just isolate through my shoulders and bring that through. Now with a band, if you want to increase and make it harder, you walk yourself further away, or you can go with a thicker band so that you can progressively overload like that. So there are a few options you can do that are not just the cable machine that are great for developing that rear delt. I hope I've given you reason enough to believe that the rear delts are an incredibly important muscle. But when we're putting it in your program, I want to make sure you're not putting it last on your shoulder days and putting it on the back burner. Especially if you have weak rear delts, I need you to put this exercise first or second, before your lateral raises, before your front raises, maybe even before your presses, so that you can emphasize growing that rear delt so that your shoulder pops in size. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go hit like and subscribe, and leave me a comment and let me know what you want to see next. And if you're looking for a protein, go to my website, lionstrongathletics.com. We have whey protein, we have vegan protein, so that you can make sure you're getting the adequate amount of protein so you can grow your muscles.